you know how many times you end this segment by going, good times?
I figured you could have cut that before she said that this
It
time.
just makes me laugh because I always know when to put the music in because she always goes, good times. That'll be on the t-shirts. Good times.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Good for a Change. I'm coming in with different energy this episode. This is a podcast where we aim to combat the awful everyday news you hear with stories that will make you smile. I'm Jarrod, and with me, but not with me, is Hollie. Hello, Hollie.
Hello, Hollie.
Oh, gosh.
All right, no, you see, I've got that energy of just like nice and relaxed and welcome everybody, and you just come in shouting at people.
Yeah, I'm keen. I'm a keen bee.
Someone's in their car listening to this and they just swerved into traffic,
I hope not.
and it's your fault.
I hope not.
Well, so do I, because that would be bad. Would be awful.
If that was the case, it's because they were taken aback by how chill you are. They were like, oh my gosh, why is he so chill?
Maybe my chillness has got them feeling chill, and so if anything, it's my fault. You're right. Fair enough. All right. Look, then I won't be chill. Then I'll be really high strung this whole episode.
I love that. Perfect.
All right. Cool. Great. With me, Sean.
Yeah, I'm here too. Hello.
Good. Yeah, I forgot you were here. How are we?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. You'll notice the people won't see this, but you'll notice I have a beard at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's how that's why I'm so chill, because I'm so chill that I'm not shaving.
You are relaxation stations.
Mate, everyone else has their quarantine beard for like 6 months now. I'm just starting right at the end.
Jarrod's not been at work for 2 days and...
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. So should we get into some good news?
Yeah, let's please.
Okay, well I'm going to start. Let's talk a little about our favourite subject, Lego.
Oh, yes.
I'm in.
This story was actually given into us.
Ooh.
By our friend Matt. We've spoken about Matt many times on the podcast. This is a story from him. It's actually about Lego and the Lego Foundation. They've announced the introduction of Lego Braille bricks, a new initiative designed to allow vision-impaired kids, and let's be honest, adults, to engage and learn tactile skills while learning the Braille alphabet.
That's amazing. What a great idea.
Absolutely. So the bricks are moulded so that the studs at the top reflect a number or letter in the alphabet, and they also coincide with colours, etc., so they can build, colour-coordinated objects.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's one of those things that I heard, and I'm like, oh, of course.
Yeah. Like, why did that not exist before?
Like, how has it taken this long?
Yeah.
How's it taken this long for someone to go, oh, that's a good idea? The bricks also have the letters and numbers printed on them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So those without vision impairment can collaborate and also learn the alphabet.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to learn how to read Braille.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
Yeah, so it's been launched in 7 countries so far, including France, US, Germany, and Norway. And they're hoping to launch in 13 more countries early next year, including Canada, Belgium, Italy, and of course Australia.
Woo!
Amazing. I think that's the kind of thing my mum would love to have at work, because she works as an integration aide in schools working with children with special needs. And that's the kind of, she has all those kind of learning tools around the house at the moment, because she's working with them over the computer and those kind of things. So we see all these different learning tools that she has, and I can just tell that that's the exact kind of thing she would love to have in her toolbox of different toys and games and things that she can use.
I think what's good about that is that it's tactile as well. Like, Lego's tactile to begin with, so to kind of add that extra layer of, like, education and something that's useful. And also, like, I believe if you are losing your sight and they're teaching you Braille, if they know, like, you've not got great sight but it's going to get worse, like, having the letters and stuff printed on there means that training is going to be easier.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
One problem, you don't want to get it mixed up with your normal Lego. Otherwise, you're just reading the same word, aren't you?
Mayhem.
Exactly right. Well, I did actually, I tried to find it, and I mean, granted, I didn't look very long, but I did want to see, like, what 6, like, bumps is in Braille, because I'm like, it's just all that.
Yeah.
And I've got another J.
It probably would be. It's probably like a really useless letter.
W.
I'm always really impressed with how people develop learning for people with special needs. Like, for example, my aunt is a teacher, and she asked me, I'm going back 5, 6, 7 years now, asked me to come around to her class and teach a kid she had with autism. because he really liked animation, and I have an animation degree. And so he and I, it was about probably a month. I went once a week for about 4 weeks, and he and I made this little like stop motion video. Cool. He was about 8 or 9. Made a little stop motion video about like the number 6 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was amazing. Just like, you know, my aunt was saying to me just how much he responds better to that than he does to just sitting there and learning about the number 6. Again, whatever it was. So yeah, I'm always really impressed when teachers actually find a way, or educators find a way, to develop things, because I feel like, now granted, we're only, 31, right? But even back in my
That's
day...
the royal we there. Some of us are much less than that.
Yes. Well, Hollie's still in primary school.
Yeah, I've got this first-hand information.
Yeah. I feel like, though, Sean, back in our day, you know, that wasn't something that would have been as widespread.
No.
That sort of, you know, finding different ways to figure out learning for people who maybe had trouble learning in other ways.
Yeah, and I think it's great to see, because, you know, I think even when you look at how everyone learns differently as well, it's not just a case of people with special needs or not kind of thing. Everyone learns in different ways. So to be able to have all these different ways accessible to so many different people, I think is so crucial as well. Because, you know, I'm sure you and I, Jarrod, learnt in a completely different way, even though we were in a lot of the same classes, a lot of the same style of learning, but we would have had different techniques that would have got us across the line, you know, when it came to exams and things. And I think it's so important that we look at different ways to educate, we study different ways. Even Hollie and I, what we do in the theatre, you know, I think a lot of our work is really accessible, and there's such a demand for accessible material now, whether it's relaxed performances for children with autism, whether it's captioned performances for people with hearing, issues hearing, and all those kind of things, or even tactile performances now. For a lot of people with vision impairments, they can come in before a show and they can like touch the sets, or they can touch the props or the costumes and things, so they're getting a better idea of what's happening on the stage. I love all that stuff. I think it's so cool to be making all these things so much more accessible to people.
Well, what also I really think is great is that, you know, some people, like I said, some people learn different ways. I'm a very visual learner. Some people are very much have to read it in a book and can just memorize it. Hollie just finds a new bit of information and just shouts it incessantly for 20 minutes until it's finally in her brain.
That's what I do. It's a struggle to get there, because I'm not good at reading, so I do have to hear the information, and then the shouting helps because I can't write it down.
Yeah. It was great that they built you that soundproof booth at school. The Hollie booth. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what would be great to make out of the Braille Lego? Little Lego piano.
Oh, that'd be fun. In fact, I think they've actually just made a Lego grand piano, and it's from, like, you know, the Lego runs an ideas program where people can submit their own designs, and then if they get 10,000 likes or votes, they potentially turn them into real Lego sets. And there's been a whole lot that have come through that, from, I think it's like the Flintstones one and all
that
sorts
really
of things.
Cool not the sailing one, the like fishing shack.
Yeah, the fisherman shack. And one of the ones they're releasing, I think this year, next year around then, is this like working grand piano. And granted, it's not the full length of a grand piano, but you can press the keys on it, and I believe they like actually play music.
I feel like that would be actually a great tool for teaching piano, because then you could like, I don't play piano, so I don't know what it's called, but you could like read the sheet music and then like feel the notes.
Oh yeah, with the Braille keyboard. Oh yeah, that's really interesting.
I think we've stumbled on something here.
We should.
If not, I've copyrighted that.
Good. Patent pending. You can't steal that from John Krasinski.
I just noticed as well on the Lego fronts, this is a big like Lego week of news apparently. Lego have teamed up with IKEA to make these storage boxes that you can now build on top of and like maybe on the side of as well. And I'm very excited about that because we have a lot of Lego and I just think, oh, if you could store and build on it, that makes it
Also,
an
I love
extra work.
IKEA.
And we love IKEA.
Any excuse for a trip to IKEA, that's a win for me.
It's a merging of worlds. I'm doing a hand gesture that no one can see again. Here we go with the visuals.
I just miss going to IKEA with you, Holly.
No, I just want to hide in the shower and make Sean jump.
We've gotten so off topic.
Right, next story, Sean.
Well,
oh my god, this. I mean, we get off track a lot, but let's, Sean, please get us back on.
I can pull us back on topic, I think, or roughly on topic, because I've got something a little bit similar to yours, Jarrod. I discovered this week this phenomenal company in South Africa that are making free books for children. They're called Book Dash, and their whole mission is to try and get kids under 5. So by the time they're 5 years old, they want to make sure that kids own 100 books.
Oh, wow.
So what they've sort of worked out is like literacy is so important, and children that own 100 books, or at least 100 books, have a better chance of higher literacy rates, which gives them a much better prospect and outlook in the future. So they're trying to get books in the hands of families. Now, in South Africa, quite often books are cost prohibitive to people. So they said, well, how can we make books for kids and get all these books out to kids in like the cheapest way possible? And they worked out that like it was the publishing costs that were what was really expensive. So they've brought on a team of volunteers and they basically say, we're going to make a new book. We've got 12 hours to do it. And they make these new books in 12 hours and they like print them themselves and they distribute them through partners, but then they also make them accessible and free on their website as well. So you can jump on their website, you can read them for free on there, you can download them onto an ebook reader, you can get them on if you've got a Google phone or an Android phone, they've got them on the Google Play Store and an app as well. And some of them, they've even got people reading them out and all these kind of things. And they've made something like over 120 books now. And I just think it's so fantastic to be able to get these books out to kids.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they make them freely accessible so that other people can jump on and translate them into local languages. So there's 11 South African languages that are like the national languages. And a lot of their books, they try and translate into as many of those languages as possible. But then if they want them for other countries or other places, people can download the file, they can translate it themselves, and they can make their own copies and distribute their own copies of these books so they spread even further.
That is so cool. That's great. Do you have any examples of what the book's called?
Yes. There's one called Lara the Yellow Ladybird.
Oh.
There's an alien in my house. But my favourite one is probably called And Also. And this book is about a child...
Can I guess? Sorry, can I guess?
Yeah,
totally
go
guess.
for it.
And Also is about a young boy learning the art of improvisation.
I mean, it almost is.
Instead of yes-anding.
It's
tiny John Mulaney.
It is...
Lives his life.
It is sort of, it literally is sort of yes and, because basically what it is, it's this boy and he's like created these imaginary worlds and he's like I'm on a boat or something, and then his sister pops up and goes, and also there's this, like there's a sea monster or something, and he's like, no there's not.
Oh, it really is. Okay.
So it's literally yes anding the key law of improvisation, which is you should run with it. But it's a really little heartwarming book about like getting along with siblings and like
I need that.
learning
Send
to
it my way.
accepting offers and playing nicely, and they're beautifully illustrated. They've got a whole lot of teams of different illustrators, authors that come on board and volunteer their time to create these books and get them distributed to kids all around Africa, and I think and the world actually as well. So
that's really cool.
So wonderful.
That's very cool. I am a big believer in like just getting kids to read. I was a big reader when I was a kid. You know, I remember my brother hates it. My brother has hated reading since he was a kid. He hates it now. And some kids or some people really read for pleasure, and some people read because they have to.
Yeah.
And I've always been very much a read for pleasure person. And it's funny, like looking at my nieces at the moment, the 9-year-old hates it.
Yeah.
Has no interest in reading whatsoever. But the 6-year-old, right into it. She's learning to read at the moment. is absorbing it so much.
Nice.
And can't get enough of it. And it's just funny watching the complete difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the same as, like I said, my brother and I. Like, when I was, 6 or 7, a lot of the kids in my class were reading, This Is Spot.
Yeah.
See Spot Run. Run Spot Run. I was reading, I think the first book I ever read properly was George's Marvelous Medicine when I was 7. And, I would be reading stuff like that, and, a lot of people in my class just hated it with a passion.
Yeah.
But I've just always really loved it. So, yeah, the idea that this company's, making all these books and getting them out to as many people as they can really only lead to, better, smarter, happier people.
Yeah. And what I think is great as well is I think children's books are, when you become an adult, I think so many people overlook children's books and arts in general. I think, as children's theatre makers, quite often we get lumped in the, like, oh, that's not worthy theatre kind of a bucket. But really, the work that a lot of people do with children is so vital and important and really fun and engaging. I will quite often go to the kids' book section in a bookshop before I go to the grown-ups section, because I just think there's like...
That's where the best stuff is.
Some picture books are just like absolutely the best things in the world.
And I think equally the ability to fit a story with as much heart and as much moral and as much interest and imagination into a 20-page book that, 3/4 pictures.
Yeah.
That is a skill, and that is, I think, so often overlooked.
I think it's so much harder than people realise.
Yeah.
Like, I had a point last year where I was like, I'm going to write a book. I had a good idea. I'd had an idea for ages, and I thought, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write this. And I wrote probably 10 pages and threw the whole thing out and started again. And then I reworked it into probably another 8 pages and threw it out and got rid of it. And now I've written maybe 4 pages.
Yeah.
And it is so much harder than you think it's going to be. Because, again, like, my initial thought is, like, I want to write a, 800-page novel.
Yeah.
But I can't write... But if I want to write a children's book, it's going to be, again, 20 pages with pictures, and that's it. And it's so hard to condense everything down that you want to do. Yeah, it's a skill I really admire.
I just finished reading recently the Brian J. Jones biography of Dr. Seuss, it's a fantastic book. And he talks about this a lot in there, about his process of creating these books, some of which, only relied on 50 words. And that's like Green Eggs and Ham was almost a challenge, and it's just 50 words that kids of that age group would know. But it's months and months of nitpicking, like which exact words, and condensing, and do they understand that word and know it, and matching it with illustrations and all those kind of things. It's such a crazy and difficult thing, and you're right, it's people don't understand like the process that goes into it, but that's what makes them all the more better.
That's because kids are smart. Kids are so much smarter than all of us. Like, kids are so clever, and we're like, oh no, it's just like a kids thing, and it's like, nah, the kids are better than we are.
Yeah, we just like, we've fallen into a trap now, haven't we? We're all like,
we all
gotta
know
get a
facts.
job, gotta pay the tax man, and kids are like,
we all know facts, and Hollie still shouts about it.
Exactly.
That's called a callback, kids.
Well, Hollie, what facts do you have to shout at us this week?
Oh, I've got a great fact, and honestly, it warmed my heart. It's about kids. It's about dogs.
We've tied this together quite nicely this week.
It's honestly
which is
an
great.
absolute winner. So I was reading this week about a child who lives in California, and her name is Meena Kumar, and she has raised, are you ready for this number, $14,000 for a senior dog rescue.
Aww.
What a champ.
That's so sweet.
So there's a bit of a backstory as to why she kind of landed on this. So she is originally from India, and she got adopted by a family because she was unfortunately left in a basket on a college campus in India when she was 9 months old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she lived in an orphanage for a year, and then she was adopted by this family who lived in San Jose in California.
Nice.
And they would drop her off at her grandparents' house, and they'd be really worried that she was going to be really bored, and they were like, what's she going to do there? And they had this litter of puppies, and she'd be playing with this litter of puppies for ages and ages and ages. And they were like, oh, that's cute. She likes dogs. Great. And then for fun, she started visiting an adoption rescue centre. And then eventually, when she was 8 years old, she adopted a mixed breed dog. Then she started going, so the place is called Muttville.
Of course it's called Muttville.
Muttville is incredible. They've got a program called Seniors for Seniors. So you can adopt a senior dog, I think if you're 64 or over. The adoption fee is waived and they give you a month's worth of supplies for the dog.
Amazing.
And they have like a senior dog dance happening at the moment, which is it's so cool. I think it's so great. It makes me so happy. So basically Mina has been raising money for them. So she started dog sitting for a company, and then everything that she made from dog sitting she gave to Muttville.
Can I move to Muttville?
I would love to move to Muttville. It sounds like an absolute dream. And then, so her dad works for Intel, the computer company. Intel matched everything that she made.
Amazing.
Which is how she's got. So she, on her own, just from dog sitting, I think raised something like $7,000.
Holy cow, what are they paying for dog sitters over in California at the moment?
But she's
Maybe we need to get into dog sitting.
She's living her absolute best life because she gets to cuddle dogs.
Yeah.
1. She gets to save a bunch of dogs. And this is what she said. She was like, I'm so happy because I know that I have made the lives of all of these dogs, like their last years, so much better. Yeah. And it warms my heart.
And that goes back to what you said before, where you go, kids are just better than us.
They just are.
They just are. That is so sweet.
Isn't that the nicest thing you've ever heard?
Oh, I love a story with dogs.
Dogs and kids. That's what they say, don't work with dogs and kids. That's a lie. That's a barefaced lie, and I won't hear it.
Yeah, don't work with bears.
Don't work with bears.
Kids and dogs, that's all fine.
Don't work with bears. Yeah.
I'm assuming there were pictures of some of these dogs. You've seen pictures of some of the dogs at Muttville.
Muttville's got a very good website.
Yeah.
I recommend that you visit the Muttville website.
We'll put up some links on our Instagram. We'll probably put some pictures or something on our Instagram so you can see some of the dogs at Muttville. You can go follow that at Good for a Change podcast. It's where we put all our visual stuff, and that way you can see some of these dogs.
Yeah, it's very cute.
How old does a dog have to be before it's considered a senior? Does it get like a senior's card?
Yeah.
Oh, good question.
Yeah, it does. It's
Does it get a discount at your local RSL?
Yeah, you get $5 meals on a Wednesday.
Recently, I discovered that...
Sorry, that tickled me. That was funny.
Recently, I discovered that different sized dogs age differently. I know everyone sort of thinks it's the 7 years to 1 human year dog life cycle, but Lexi, the dog we recently adopted at the start of the lockdown, she turns 3 in September. And we're like, yay, birthday party for the dog, which is very exciting and taking over all our minds at the moment. And then we tried to work out how old she is. And because of her size, she's actually going on 30 this year. So it's 3 going on 30, which is crazy.
She acts it.
Because, I thought that was 21. But now she's a mature woman now.
Yeah, she's older than me.
She's our age, Sean.
She's our age. She's just flown past Hollie in age.
She's got a mortgage.
She can remember back at school when kids weren't taught just where they are now. Yeah. That's another callback for you, gang.
What a fun time.
What a fun time.
So at Muttville, I've just done a little search. It depends on the dog, but bigger dogs are usually around 8 before they're considered too old for adoption. That's when Muttville will take them on, and then a smaller dog will be like 10 or 12. And I'm sorry, 8 is not that old. You've got like 6 years, maybe more. I don't know. Some people, eh? I love a sad looking dog.
Yeah, you're a little bit obsessed with dogs that have 1 eye, 3 legs.
Oh, I live for that.
Crazy old man teeth.
I'd go absolutely wild at Muttville.
I really wanted to adopt a dog early this year. I didn't end up doing it. But there was one in particular that I really liked the look of. And he was this tiny little thing. I don't know what he was, but he had like a square head. And his full name, they gave him a full name, was Jeffrey Maryville. And I loved Jeffrey Maryville, and I didn't get to adopt him, but they would post videos of him, and I just fell in love. And for one reason or another, I couldn't do it. And I had my nieces going up to my parents going, can Uncle Jazz please get Jeffrey Maryville now? And I would there was this great picture of Jeffrey Maryville looking happy, and then when you swiped, it was him looking sad. And so I go up to Mum and be like, "Excuse me, I'm Jeffrey Maryville. Can I please come live at your house?" And she'd say no, and then I'd swipe, and it would look sad. Poor Jeffrey Maryville. But I am told I did actually have a search not long ago. Jeffrey Maryville did get adopted.
Yay!
Well done,
So I'm hoping Jeffrey Maryville's living his best life.
If you're the owner of Jeffrey Maryville, get in touch. We want to know how he's doing.
We want to make sure he's okay.
Get in touch, and I'm coming around, and I'm going to dog sit, but I will be charging $7,000. Well, last week, Hollie, you nearly got us with a story about your bed sheets. You brought it back later in the episode, but tell me now, Hollie, what's good in your life?
Are you ready for the nerdiest thing you've ever heard in your life?
Oh boy.
So this week, I have executed I'd say, 10-year-long dream of mine. And I have repurchased a 1997 Anastasia doll. From the movie musical Anastasia.
See, my mind wasn't sure where to go, because I'm thinking, the singer Anastasia. But I'm like, was she around in 1997? And I'm like, that'd be a weird choice. And then I'm like, is it like a weird English Bratz doll? But no, it is just the movie Anastasia, starring Meg Ryan.
Yeah, so let me preface this with a tale.
It's too late to preface it now. You've said it.
I've said it now.
You just have to explain yourself.
Face it. I was watching a Trixie Mattel video. The drag queen Trixie Mattel collects Barbie dolls. And I was watching a video of her Barbie doll collection. And it was very interesting. But she got to the 90s and I was like, I don't recognise any of these Barbie dolls. And then I realised, I don't think I ever had a Barbie doll. I think I only had Anastasia dolls. I used to have every toy that was connected to that movie that was ever released. I had the music box, we had two dolls, I had a Puka, which is the dog, and his little ears went. I was in. And for some reason, and I don't know why I did this, maybe just to hurt myself in the future, I decided to bin all of those things when I was about, 16.
Oh, toy regrets. That's what that is.
And I've literally spent the last 10 years being like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why have I ruined my life?
Which was a weird thing for you to say at your wedding.
Hi guys, welcome. If anyone does have the Anastasia music box in their home, I will be willing to pay up to 100 Great British pounds for it. Thank you. Welcome to the wedding.
Yeah. And then you walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
Well, that's the key one, isn't it, for you, Hollie? Because the music box you haven't been able to find.
Yeah, so the music box is a nightmare. Because the music box, I don't want the good quality music box. I want the rubbish music box that I had when I was a child. It's solid 90s plastic, bright green. It's hideous, but it hurts my soul. But I was watching another video the other day because I've fallen into a rabbit hole with the Anastasia 1997 movie toy collection, wherein I found out that they only sold the music box at Anastasia on Ice, as far as I can tell.
Wait, Anastasia on Ice?
Yeah, like Disney on Ice, but Anastasia. So it's very difficult to come by, and the people who do have it, it's very expensive, or it comes with a necklace that you put on it, and then it opens the music, and they've lost the necklace, and you don't want that's nonsense. So
basically where we're going with this is that if you have the Anastasia music box, not the good one, the garbage one.
From the ice skating show.
Yeah, and when you open it up,
please get in contact with us.
I want it to have Anastasia in it. That's what I want. I want it to flip up and for it to have Anastasia, not Tsar Nicholas.
Only from the ice skating show, please get in contact. Was it just the toys you were obsessed with, or did you actually just watch the movie a lot as well?
Oh, I love the movie. I still love the movie.
Because it'd be weird if you...
I'm just really into it. I've never seen the movie. Who's Meg Ryan?
Alright, Sean, please. I don't know where to go after that. Sean, what's good in your life?
Oh, do you remember the 1997 movie Anastasia?
I do remember I had the music box. But only from the ice show.
Well, while Hollie's been watching a lot of videos about doll collections and things, I've been watching some videos as well. And one of the people that I have discovered recently, and it's through Hollie, is a YouTuber called Grackle. That's her username. And I tell you what, we've been locked down for a while now, and I've watched a lot of YouTube, and sometimes we just watch YouTube to just like gently fall asleep and those kind of things, and just ease our day off a little bit. And Grackle has been an amazing channel to watch, and I don't know 100% why. I'll tell you a little bit about her YouTube channel. She films cooking videos primarily, but she'll do the sort of things like eating like someone from the 1950s for 24 hours, or eating army rations for 24 hours, or I'm gonna bake the recipes on the back of a flower box, or all these kind of crazy kind of things. But she just films it in like a really casual way. She sort of like has her camera set up and she like goofs around a bit and does some funny dances.
She's so funny because what happens is, so she'll do like, let's say I'm going to eat like the exact meal from the 1950s. She's like, I'm following this to the T. And then she'll be like, well, I'm dairy free, so actually I'm not having any of the milk products. And you're like, that makes sense, Grack, no worries. And then she'll be like, I've not got any flour, so we're not doing that bit.
She just warps a bit. But there's something about her, and I don't know if it's just because I know Hollie and I know a bunch of her friends, but it feels like we're watching someone that Hollie went to school with, or that has been Hollie's friend for a long time, because she's not like this like super slick. Some YouTubers are like super slick operations. They've got the green screen going, they've got the effects going, all that kind of stuff. She just records these videos, has a great time doing it, and has built up like a whole lot of followers in doing so. And it's just so joyous to watch. It's literally like watching a friend. And maybe it's because we're locked down and we can't catch up with a lot of people at the moment, but that feels really nice to just sort of have this person that you can watch and be like, this is just some nice content.
She's so
and I
funny.
enjoy it. And she's really funny. So that's what's good in my life.
I don't think she even knows. I don't think she knows how funny she is, but she is. She's incredible.
I'm going to have to check her out.
Oh, you should.
What's her name? Grackle.
Grackle on YouTube, yeah.
I like the way you just call her Grack, like your friend.
She does it. She'll be like,
we're best
welcome
mates.
back, it's Grack, kind of thing. So, yeah.
It's nonsense.
It's a good time. How about you, Jarrod? What's good in your life right now?
I'm going to tell you about my cat.
Yeah!
More animals.
I have had a cat. How long have we had Ollie? Ollie's probably 3? We've had about 3 years, I'd say. And he is, to put it nicely, a shirt head. I'll censor myself with some good place words.
Thank you. That means I don't need to tick the box in the podcast website.
So we got him when he was basically a kitten. I think he was only maybe a month old when we got him. And we got him for Dad, but I think Dad's his least favourite person in the house. His favourite is my mother, but recently he's decided that he likes me.
Nice.
And so he started sleeping on my bed, which is fine, which is lovely when he wants to actually go to sleep, but sometimes he'll nuzzle his way, like, between your legs. And so you'll wake up, and, like, it's the middle of winter at the moment, but you'll wake up. Actually, no, it's not. It's spring. I have no idea. What year is it? I have no idea we're right anymore.
Time is a construct.
Time is a construct. Whatever it is, it's still quite cool at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'll wake up and I'll be sweltering and I'll look down just because I've got this giant lump of a cat like asleep on my stomach. When was it? It was probably, about a month ago. I woke up, and as I woke up, he was in my room, right? He'd been knocking stuff off my desk and having a great time. And that was fine. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up, and as I look up, he's mid-air and about to attack my hand. Luckily I had enough time to briefly move it, but literally I would have woken up to a cat just like biting me and attacking me. All in a loving way. He does it all for fun. But yeah, he's just, he's probably the best cat we've owned. We've had a few cats, and he's probably the best one we've had, because it's just fun to have a playful cat. I haven't had a playful cat. I like a playful cat.
This is my question about cats, that's the best cat you've had, and his head is a shirt.
Yeah, but he's like he's a fun shirt head.
Right.
Like he's fun about it, and like he like last night, I was sitting there watching TV, and he jumped up on the couch behind me and just started slapping me in the head with his tail. And I was like, "Thank you for making me a part of this, cat." But then when I went to move him, like to push him away, he then looked at me like I was the ash hole. I think that was the Good Place version. Looked at me like I was the idiot, like I was inconveniencing him. Anyway, he's very cute.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you push me
He gives
off?
you that look. At the moment, he wants to go outside a lot at the moment.
Don't we all?
We let him out sometimes, but a lot of the time we're like, no, you're an inside cat. But he'll go to the door and he'll just look at you and start meowing until you let him out. And now I'll turn around and go, no. And he looks at you and goes, meow, and then walks off like, well, screw you then. And off he goes.
That's,
like
our dog is,
high schooler.
as we've said, 3 and 30. She's also very much 13. She is the biggest 13-year-old I've ever met in my life. She's like, I can't believe it.
Oh, she's a moody.
You guys are so mean to me.
Yeah, she's the moodiest dog.
It's like, no, we're not. We're so good. Do you understand how good your life is?
Oh dear.
Oh,
Animals.
They're so funny. They're so funny. And if you want to send us a story about your cat or dog or any good news story, you can send us an email at goodforachangepodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can join our Facebook group called Good for a Change, where people from all over the world submit good news stories they've found to brighten everyone's day and make them smile. It's a good time on there.
Good times.
Last week I claimed that this is me playing the piano.
It's actually me.
And I'm going to maintain that illusion.
Oh.
Well, we're dueling pianos at the moment, you and I. Except we're making it sound like one person's playing. Oh, there we go. That was good. All right, and I believe we're at the end. That was a good episode. What was interesting about that episode was a lot less funny stories and more actual, proper, serious, good stories, which is what we originally started this podcast to be. And then I was like, oh, let's talk about penguins and Pingu. It's
surprising how often penguins just show up in this podcast. Maybe lots of good things happen to penguins.
They fill me with joy.
Can I make a challenge for next week?
Yes.
I want to see if we can do a story, a whole episode, and not have any stories about animals.
Ooh.
Do you know I tried so hard to find a no animal story this week? I tried so hard and I couldn't find one.
All right. Well, next week, no animals. All right.
Oh, sorry guys.
It's fine.
Well, if you want to make sure you don't miss an episode about he's looking at me like I've done a bad thing.
Well, you haven't let Hollie and I do our favourite part of the whole podcast.
Yeah, I was trying to skip it. I was trying to get
Hollie,
past it.
Hollie.
Sean.
Yeah, that's better. How many stars, Hollie?
5 stars.
Should you give this podcast?
5 stars only. Do you know what else I would give 5 stars? The 1997 movie musical Anastasia.
It's true. I agree.
20th Century Fox, 5 stars. And this podcast, 5 stars.
Yes, absolutely. And please don't give it anything less. It's a policy thing. Go back and listen to previous episodes. We won't go on about it. Sean doesn't like it when we go on about it.
Thanks. And tell your friends also. That's not in the policy, but if you want to, you can tell your friends that we exist.
You can find all the previous episodes of the podcasts online. You can subscribe to them on iTunes, Spotify, all your favourite providers, as well as finding us on YouTube and Facebook. Get connected with us in the various different ways. Follow us on Instagram to get all the visual elements. Just search for Good for a Change, and hopefully you find us. I think we're getting big enough now that people will find us.
Yeah, we're famous now.
Wow.
I'm getting recognised on the street, even though I've not left the house in 12 days.
Yeah, we're super famous. You're walking out there and just looking in a mirror and shouting at yourself.
That's Hollie!
You're like a budgie.
Oh dear.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you very much, Hollie.
Thank you, Jarrod.
Thank you very much, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jarrod. You're welcome.
Until next time.
With no animals.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, cheerio. That wasn't a bye.
Apologies. Bye.